I'm excited to get back to working on my Broncos, but of course, as life would have it, a few things had come up when I came back. I just made a video of making this Jeep right here street legal by adding the flares to make sure I can get the safety. And then, of course, while I was away, just a matter of time for this 2013 Jeep right here to crap out, I guess, because I'm not around. Anyways, I'll tell you what happened here. I already took the radiator off of the vehicle. I'm waiting for the new radiator. But what happened was, for some reason, it created a stress crack right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. So, fluid has leaked out. It was overheating. My son had to pull over and call me while I was on my trip. And then we got it towed home, and now I'm going to fix it here. That wasn't what the video of today is, but you saw me talk about my 1974 Bronco already. I am a proud owner of a classic truck like this. And a lot of people, of course, want classic trucks. But there are things you need to know about owning classic trucks that may turn you off about owning classic trucks unless you have a lot of money and you have a full-time mechanic or a full-time fabricator on your pocket, or you can buy one of those Broncos that are $150,000, $200,000 and they're supposedly ready to go. But let me go over the things that I think are a nuisance, or things that you need to know about owning a classic car or a classic truck like this that will probably annoy you on a daily basis if you're not ready for it. And of course, you can't really daily drive something like this because it's too extreme, right? I'm building something that you can daily drive, and I'll talk more about that later on. But this one right here, I don't think you can. But if you want to, after watching this video, then you can make that decision. But I'll go over those things. So let's go for a ride. I think the very first thing that you need to know is that if you have a stock Bronco, like a 74 Bronco, they usually come carbureted, right? And if you're not fuel injected, you may have problems starting it once in a while. The carburetor can get gummed up. It is not good with elevations and things like that. So that's one problem. Most cars nowadays have come standard with power windows, power doors, door locks, a lot of power things that makes it easier for a driver to get in and out of the vehicle. But not this one. All of them come manual. So unless you fit it with electronics, you're gonna have a manual everything. Manual air conditioning. One thing with something like this, of course, there's no AC and it can get hot during the summertime, but that's why you take the top off, right? So, smell of gas is another thing. This one's not that bad because it's fuel injected, but you can still, you know, smell the gas because you don't have the cabin recirc the newer cars have. But for me, I like that. Another issue is that if you don't know what you're doing, I built this Bronco, built this motor. So today I was driving around. I think the timing is off, so I'm gonna reset the timing to base timing and then advance it from there. If you don't know that, then you're gonna end up having a down Bronco and then taking it to the shop for somebody else to work on it. So another downfall of classic Bronco, classic truck. There's a goat farm over there. Stuck in traffic. Anyway, little noises here and there. This one has a soft top, so it's not that bad because when you take off the top, the wind is noisy anyway, so you can't hear anything. But having an old car, there's a lot of just loose things that are just banging and rattling. So if you're not used to that and you're used to newer cars, it'll drive you nuts. I don't have a radio on this car because the engine is my radio. I don't have a radio or stereo system in this car because the engine is my stereo system, and plus I want to hear how it sounds and just how the health is of the engine. Speaking of the engine, the 1966 to 77 Broncos, especially the earlier models, did not come with or it came with a 3-speed automatic C4 and also a 3-speed manual transmission, which can be very limited. So this one right here is a 5-speed, but anyway, I think there's an accident, so here we go. Take a look and see what they got. Okay. Oh, there's just so many things to point out that's so much different in the 21st century. I guess quirks of having an old truck like this. So as you see, there's nothing here to do your headlights, your high beam, low beam. It's not here, even though this is an aftermarket steering wheel from I Did It. This only does the signal, and this is the tilt. The horn works obviously, but your high beams and low beams is normally down here, but I moved it over here because it's just easier for me to reach down there. All right. Also, the e-brake is behind this, a little bit different. Super hard too. Also, look at this. I don't know if you can see it, but this right here is the arms for the wipers, and there's the motor over there, and it's exposed, so you gotta watch your fingers, make sure you don't obviously get caught up in there. This has a roll bar, full roll bar, which you don't get in newer vehicles. This seat again right here is comfortable only because it's from a newer truck. Real quick, gauges, as simple as you can get it, but I have aftermarket gauges because I want to kind of keep track of the engine and everything that's going on as close as possible. Check this out, right? Newer cars have probably chips in their keys. This is the key. You can make multiple copies of this and then steal this vehicle. Don't give him any ideas, but that's the ignition right there. This is for the wipers and the headlights. There used to be the fan and all of these things, but I'm just gonna cover that. My phone is going off. One thing you'll notice if you have like stock Bronco, the 6677, there's like a few other buttons here or switches for the tank, because most of it have dual tanks. I removed that already and modified it. This has a rear tank that's bigger than the normal capacity, is like 25 gallons or something like that. So it works out. I think the current vehicles, only Jeep Wrangler has a manual shift from two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive. This has that, and an additional thing you have to do on a Wrangler, you just put it on 4 high, 4 low. You don't have to do anything else. But here, because this is an old school axle, you have to put that on lock and unlock, and then your drive shaft will engage to the transfer case. All manual stuff. There are definitely many more things that I could point out that if you're not used to that and you own one of these, or you're wishing to own one of it, that will probably bother you if you're not used to it, right? But I've had many old cars, and I just love the sound of it. Of course, being part of history, owning something like this old is pretty cool to me. Some other things, this was painted about 10 years ago, and the rust is starting to surface because I don't have a garage for it, and it's sitting outside. And places like Hawaii definitely is, there's there's a lot of elements in here that can cause rust because we're close to the ocean. So other things that really just kind of, you need to be patient and know what you're doing is, no matter how much I seal the real axle, it's got a little bit of leak. In fact, there's like a leak everywhere now. There's a leak on the rear axle, there's a leak on the transfer case, there's a leak on the front axle. It's just something that's an old vehicle like this, if you use it, it's leaking. There's an old adage that if it's not leaking, then it's not working. and it's very true with a vehicle like this. Look, I think I mentioned it earlier. This is like a vent, or lets the air in. So you keep it open like this when you're driving, lets the air in. It's pretty cool. It actually works like a, you know, a natural AC ventilation system. I usually take off the top during summer. Not today, but I will soon, and I'll make different videos of that. I've already made a video of the good things about this Bronco, but I kind of wanted to point out, if you, like I said, if you want to, or if you own an old car like this one, these are the things that, for me, could bother you, right? And it could cost a lot of money as well, because if you don't know what you're doing, you take it to somebody that knows, and you got to pay money for them to do it for you. I happen to love what I do. This is my passion. I happen to love working on cars like this. I don't mind it. In fact, the head gasket blew, actually. I don't know if I told you that, but the head gasket blew. It took me about a couple of days plus waiting for parts to come in to do it, and then put it back together, set timing again, and then it runs perfect again. So something like that, you can't be scared, right? And if you do want to own something like this and you don't know what you're doing mechanically, just be ready for that. Be ready for the costs associated with it. How's the gas mileage? Oh boy. If you have an old carbureted one, you'll probably get about 8 to 10 miles to the gallon, and that's pretty bad, right? Considering the big Jeeps that I own get about 22 plus miles per gallon, depending on how I drive it. This one right here has fuel injection and a supercharger, so it, you know, depends on how I drive it. It probably gets maybe between 15 to 18 miles to the gallon if I drive it nice, if I'm nice to it. But if I'm want to kind of go faster or just push the gas more, then I'll probably get between 10 to 12 miles to the gallon anyways, right? But is gas really an issue when you own something like this? I don't think so. I believe that if you decide to own something like this, you don't care about the gas prices, right? Because if you own something like this, it will probably be your secondary vehicle, or even your third vehicle, right? It's not your primary vehicle. Anyways, I just kind of want to point those out today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I unfortunately came across an accident on the freeway, so I had to turn around. It took me a little while to get back home. Somebody's already there to help. Normally I'd get off, but I got there a little bit too late, and the fire truck and the ambulance are already there. So, but that's my day today. You know, I just kind of want to share that with you again, right? I hope you enjoy this. That's all I have for you this week. Hope I can get to my Project Bronco soon and make more videos of that. Aloha.